Hello, Kamish back with another episode of The Drought. We're talking about Colombia's 44 game losing streak, along with, you know, they are, I think like it's 47 game winless and 44 game losing streak because there's a couple ties in there, which really makes it a whole lot of fun. It's phenomenal that there were still ties involved because like Northwestern streak, no ties. Prairie View streak, no ties. But Columbia streak, a little bit different. A lot of fun. Uh, you know, had a little the tie flavor, which is great. So Commission's here. Along with me for episode 2 is going to be Big Sky Bridget. How are you today, Big Sky Bridget?
I'm good. It's been a busy week, so I'm excited to sit here and lock in and get into how this team lost and tied so many games. I'm really curious about the ties.
So
I kind of miss ties in college football.
So
really
the ties were in the first season. There's no more
Yeah,
ties after
okay.
this. So you've
It's
missed
fine.
the ties. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Well, now I have to go back and listen. It's fine.
So if you want to listen to episode 1, it's already behind the Patreon paywall. Go ahead and listen to episode 1. I don't know why you would start with episode 2, but if you do that, go right ahead.
Maybe you just every episode is somebody's first Patreon, but for a series, you should start with the first one.
So this is episode 2. I'm gonna call this episode after Witkowski. So last episode, the first episode, we learned that while Colombia was going like 1-7-2, and their losing streak and winless streak sitting at 5 with 3 losses and 2 ties. That's where they're sitting at after the 1983 season. Their record-setting quarterback and their Ivy League record-setting quarterback who held like passing records in the conference for 20 years while going like 1-9 and 1-7-2. John Witkowski is gone. He was drafted by the Detroit Lions. I think he played 3 games for the Lions. He held these records for such a long time. And to be such a prolific passer on a team that was just so bad, and just, they could put up some points every now and then. He would drop averaging like almost 270 yards a game passing, but Columbia just couldn't stop anybody. And that was kind of an issue there. And Witkowski was just throwing the ball everywhere. For his career, he had 56 touchdown passes and 60 interceptions.
That's crazy.
That's all they had, though.
On any team that had a moderately good defense, they would be dominant. But if you can't stop anybody, like, defense wins championships.
60 interceptions is a lot in 3 years also. So averaging like 20 interceptions.
I low-key want to know where he's at in the Detmer score.
Yeah. So Jordan indicated he couldn't figure out the Detmer because it was a career thing. But he couldn't get the stats for that year. And I'm like, okay, so we can't get an accurate Detmer for this gentleman. But just on gut instinct alone, John Witkowski would be like an all-time Detmer quarterback.
He's up there. He's up there.
Big time. So he's gone. He's done. He's in the NFL. The head coach, Bob Naso, is back. He's back for year 5 in his tenure. His current record in 1984, he is 4-34-2. He is 3-24-1 in the Ivy. So I can't imagine a coach hanging around this long with this type of record nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no.
To make it to year 5? No way. So year 5 for Bob Naso.
No. He's lucky if he makes it to year 3.
Yes. So, in this situation now, they don't have a quarterback. It's Bob Naso, 5th year, kind of a make or break year for him, I would say. They have the preview for 1984. It says, the Lions offense sports a new look. This is from Jeff Adler. He says, they're just smiling to themselves. There are 9 of them, 9 defensive coordinators with a common goal. Each of them on a certain Saturday afternoon this season will have the task of containing the Columbia offense. Yes, they're smiling to themselves. Of course, they'll never admit it. But when each thinks about his team's game with the Lions, there will be a collective sigh of relief. Their relief, you see, is due to an exodus of sorts. More specifically, 4,080 offensive yards of exodus. When John Witkowski and company graduated last May, the bulk of Colombia's offense, it would seem, went with them. And so these 9 defensive coordinators are feeling a bit more comfortable about their impending showdowns with the Lions. After all, they'll think to themselves, it has to be easier this time around. I'm really confused here. Like, Colombia was 1-7-2, and like they're painting this picture of, hey, Colombia's, they got to be happy they don't have to deal with Colombia, even though they were 1-7-2 last year because Witkowski was not there anymore. I mean, so again, this is why I'm calling this episode after Witkowski, because again, the streak sits at 5, whatever. Bob Naso has different thoughts. He is the head coach of the Colombia football team and has a rather optimistic feeling about his team's new look offense. For starters, Naso does not see the John Witkowski era as the pinnacle in Colombia's offensive development. Quote, I can't say that offensively we reached our peak last year, unquote. We had some limitations personnel-wise. We have depth this year. So, I mean, is he throwing shade at, like, Witkowski here?
Which, that would feel insane, given, 60 interceptions. Obviously not ideal, but your man was putting up, 270 yards a game.
Yeah.
You're not going to just find that again.
Colombia.
Yeah,
Ivy
that's
League,
what I'm like.
Ivy League passers dropping 270 yards.
This isn't like the Georgia offense remaking itself with
Colombia reloads
year after year after year when everybody gets drafted. It's like Colombia, you're a lovely school. I've presented at you a couple times. I've drank in your East Asia library. It's a lovely place. You're not a football powerhouse. You're just not.
Bob Naso, we're reloading. Forget about Witkowski.
We have depth.
We have depth.
For how?
For how? For what? And then,
explain how.
Passing.
Show your work.
Passing in the 1980s, 270. That's 350 to 400 nowadays. I would think. That's Texas Tech levels.
Those are Doug Flutie numbers.
This is, and again, even with him, they were going 1-9. 1-7-2, like they went last year.
Where is your depth? I would love for you to show your work, buddy.
Show your work, Bob. So he says the depth most significantly is to be found in the Lions backfield. Senior Daryl Mitchell returns off an injury-plagued 1983 to lead a group of 4 running backs, all of whom Naso expects to contribute. Joining Mitchell will be sophomore Al Gonzalez, who was very impressive at camp, former track runner Jimmy Henderson, whose quickness and speed should bolster the running attack, and sophomore John Chirico, a hard-working Mike Goldman-type fullback. Do I know who Mike Goldman is? No, I don't.
Does anybody know?
If you Google the words of Mike Goldman, I'm going to do this right now. Do you think anybody I'm just going to say this. Mike Goldman.
One of the first 3 is going to be a LinkedIn. That's my guess.
I have Mike Goldman home. Mike Goldman is an Australian actor, television and radio host, and voiceover artist. He is best known for his involvement in Big Brother Australia. That's okay.
Yeah.
So now my head there's a Mike Goldman type fullback that has an Australian accent.
I have so many jokes and they're all fighting to make it into the joke depot. Just the trains in my head are just crashing. I'm trying to imagine an Australian fullback because punter kicker, sure, that's fine. Can you imagine an Australian a dude who comes over from rugby or Aussie rules football and just wreck shop? It would be great.
So a little bit further in the article, the season 1984 preview, he says, whoever we go with at quarterback is untested. There's no question we lack game experience at quarterback, but we have 3 young men who are very capable. Okay, he said they had 3 quarterbacks. That means they have none.
That's just literally, if you have 3 quarterbacks, you have 0 quarterbacks. This is what camp is for. You're supposed to find like your guy.
After
That's why you
Witkowski.
do camp.
You can't. He's trying to find another Witkowski, and he's admitting to himself, I got nobody close. So I love the quarterbacks' names here. You have Junior Henry Santos, who was a free safety last season. Sure. Free safety to quarterback. That works well. And then you got Pete Murphy, who was Witkowski's backup last year. So the free safety quarterback, like converted free safety,
is higher on
the depth chart
than your man who backed up your Detmer quarterback.
Yes. And then you have the sophomore Peter von Schoenemark.
Oh, I'm going to have to look at the spelling of this. Please hold.
Schoenemark. Von Schoenemark.
Okay. Wow. These are some names.
Yeah, I love it because it's Ivy League names along with football players.
Ivy, you're not winning in football, but you are winning in names.
They got some great names.
Yeah.
So basically, Witkowski, no backup quarterback. The backup quarterback couldn't even take the job. A free safety had to convert to take the job, which
I'm sure is going to be fine for the defense.
Totally fine. It's going to be a great year. It's totally
fine.
It's fine.
Stop asking questions. It's fine.
It's fine. Everything's fine. I don't know what you're talking about. So I want to go like the defense, and then it goes consistency is key. And then the lead of this is so great. It's like football, like juggling, requires coordination of two elements. In juggling, the right and left hands must work in unison to keep the items aloft. So too in football, the offense and defense must coordinate their efforts to win a game. If either component fails to do its job, the balance will be disrupted and the contest will be lost. The past 2 seasons, Columbia did not have such balance. The burden of winning was placed upon the offense, powered by the arm of record-breaking quarterback John Witkowski. Like I said, this is after Witkowski. The offense under his direction posted 218 points last year, but the defense yielded 363 points. Only 27 fewer than the previous season, their worst ever.
I mean, listen, they said consistency is key.
It is key.
And there's consistency here.
Yeah. Now Witkowski is gone, and so is the high-powered offense he piloted. The offensive attack will become more ground-oriented. Most importantly, the defense must toughen up. The Lions field their best defense on paper in 3 years. Very key. That's an M dash, right? Very key.
It's an M dash.
Very
the best defense
on paper.
On paper dash.
So I just setting up Columbia's season. This is the season preview.
That is shade with that M dash usage.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't need the M dash, but it's there for emphasis.
Yeah.
To say that on paper, this is supposed to be the best team that they've had.
Yeah.
And yet there's doubt.
So
that is this newspaper pressing X to doubt.
Yes, doubt. Yes, press X to doubt. You're doubting. So this is the season preview. This is great, right? You don't have a quarterback. Your starting quarterback was your free safety converting to quarterback this year. You have a stable of 4 running backs who is one's an Australian fullback, I guess. I'm just calling him the Australian.
It's canon. It's
canon now. We
can't find anything about him. He's an Aussie rules guy. He's fine.
Aussie rules fullback. One thing of note, last year, their stadium was under construction. So the whole year they played their away games at like the Meadowlands. They played like different locations, and most of their games were away. Their stadium is now complete. They're welcome back home. Wien Stadium is completed. It is renovated and it is done, and they get to open the stadium and the season against Harvard, welcoming them to the new Wien Stadium to open the year. So they're not nomads, but they lost Witkowski, and they're like, okay, we have optimism here. Optimism. Let's
Right. There's
get.
already a lot of expectations on this team, and then you add the new stadium to it and playing Harvard.
Yeah.
Like, it's a trifecta.
So basically what Bob Naso says before this season, it says, with the lack of game experience at quarterback, we're going to be careful to not put too much pressure on them early. It's important to generate a solid running game in order to keep the opposing offenses off balance. Then we can throw when we want to. As far as emerging from the shadow of the great offensive units of the past, Naso does not see any problems with his players. They're doing their own thing, he said. They don't have to prove themselves in comparison to the past. They'll create their own identity. And now it was Bob Naso who is smiling. So, all right. So Wien Stadium is complete. And this apparently is a big event in the city of New York.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, they just redid the stadium. They got everything here. Wien Stadium was dedicated. Columbia staged a gala Broadway opening, christening Lawrence A. Wien Stadium at Baker Field this past Saturday. There were a few Broadway stars or Hollywood bigwigs in attendance, although Mayor Ed Koch, right?
Yeah, it's Ed Koch.
Ed Koch, yeah, did make a cameo appearance. Nevertheless, the celebration tingled with pomp and from polished alumni everywhere, electricity from a sellout crowd of 10,500, and the penetrating emanations of sirloins grilling in the parking lot. I mean, they're just
no. I've been around that campus, so I'm trying to imagine like that area.
Yeah,
grilling out.
Yes,
I would be out. I would be about it. I'm also just imagining like the Columbia alumni just out there like grilling steaks in the parking lot.
Yeah,
it doesn't really strike me as a Columbia thing to do, and that's my Ivy League hater coming out.
It doesn't really see that. So quotes of this thing here. It says, the game of 1984 in the city of New York. That's what they crowned this game as. Which I'm like, okay.
Ooh.
Little pressure.
Would you like more expectations? Here's more expectations.
Would you like some more expectations? 1-7-2 Columbia while you're mired in a it's like a normal losing streak at this time. It's just fine.
Yeah, it's not like you had a bad season. It's fine. Like
fine.
Your defense wasn't great. You can rebuild it. Everybody has bad seasons.
Yeah,
we've all lived through plenty of them with our teams. Like nobody can see the future.
So it says the new stadium is gorgeous, but it cannot upstage the real beauty which lies beyond the playing field. Boats pass quietly in and out of the mouth of the Harlem River in between Majestic Rock. And then it goes.
Sorry.
No problem.
I'm doing a baptism in Coeur d'Alene in a couple weeks, so I had to hop off and get some questions answered about that. Okay, sorry. We'll continue.
All right. So I want to go back to the thing that says the new stadium is gorgeous, but it cannot upstage the real beauty which lies beyond the playing field. Boats pass quietly in and out of the mouth of the Harlem River between Majestic Rock. And then there's a line at the end of this, and it says like go see the gala, like page 11, but it says, though the water is thick with grime.
New York in the 80s.
Yeah, it's great. So following a season with 7 road games and 3 home games at neutral sites, so Columbia in 1984 moved into the Wien Stadium in Upper Manhattan, playing 6 of its 9 games at home. The new stadium was built on the same site as former Baker Field, which hosted Columbia football from 1923 to 1982. Basically, it's the same site, but they just made it better. And they got 6 home games. Like last year, they only had like 3. So, really that is it's like, hey, you got some home games. You kind of feel like the schedule could be doing you some favors, I guess, a little bit. You would
Yeah.
think, but that doesn't always work out that way for you, unfortunately. So again, first game of the season, sold out crowd, home to Harvard. So they wind up losing this game to Harvard 35-21. So Saturday, Daryl Mitchell, Columbia's starting tailback, began in his final season that was interrupted by personal as well as health reasons. Mitchell played well on the ground, gaining 4.3 yards per carry, 77 total, while scoring 2 touchdowns. We did give him a game. The Lions fought back to a 27-21 deficit when a pass by quarterback Henry Santos was intercepted and returned 45 yards for a touchdown with 3:20 left in the game. So a pick six basically does them by their former free safety converted to quarterback.
It's one of those where like it's so close and then it gets taken away from you kind of at the last second.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that kills you the most. Like that's the part that hurts the most.
Yeah. So like basically what happened in this game, Harvard got out to a pretty big lead from this point, and they were up 14-0. Then it was 14-7, then 17-7. Then Harvard got it was kind of back and forth, nip and tuck until the pick six, and that was pretty much it.
And that's like people say like momentum is real.
Yeah.
Like a momentum shift is a real thing, especially in a game like this.
I mean, they got the ball with 3:30 left with a chance to win, but then they threw the pick six. So
it's just
you had a shot. So just really, really, really had a good chance here, and they kind of put in, I would say a good fight for their first game in their new stadium.
Yeah, I mean, like this. If you're just looking at this without the benefit of the hindsight of history, you're saying, okay, like, pick six at the end, not ideal. You can grind some film. You can make better decisions next week. Your quarterback literally just converted from free safety.
Yeah.
So you're going to expect some mistakes.
Got some
This
positivity.
doesn't look like a team that's on its way to a historic losing streak. It just looks like a team that's in the process of rebuilding, which, again, everyone goes through rebuilding years.
That's correct. So next game is against Lafayette. It's back at Wien Stadium again, so they got a home game. So last game, opening of the stadium, crowd sold out, 10,500. Against Lafayette, the attendance is only 4,034. So they lost 6,000 people grilling steaks after one game.
Man, that's rough.
Yeah. So they're playing the Lafayette Leopards. I love the headline here. It says, Lions spotty in a 23-14 loss to Leopards. And it says here, if college football games lasted 50 minutes, the Columbia Lions would be 1-1. Unfortunately for the Lions, that's not the case. Midway through the fourth quarter against Lafayette, for the first time in the new Lawrence A. Wien Stadium, they enjoyed a lead 14-10, but the lead was short-lived as a 55-yard scoring drive, which came right after Columbia went ahead, clinched a victory for the Leopards. So I love this here because it's a weird score, and you're like, is there a safety mixed in here? No, it's just basically nobody can make an extra point. So basically, I want to say here, this was kind of funny to me that they highlighted this in this game. It says, like, in looking at the loss, which dropped the Lions to 0-2, it's difficult to blame the Columbia defense. Probably the most crucial factor in the game was the consistently good field position the Lafayette offense enjoyed most of the day, which continually put the Lions on the defensive. For example, in the first quarter, the Leopard drive started at the Columbia 47, the 49, and then the 47, and then twice at midfield.
That's crazy.
So the Lion co-captain, Tony Mazzarini, said, considering we gave them the ball inside the 50 every time, the defense did all right. The game,
I mean, you got to find the upside somehow.
Yeah. I don't understand how they were given the ball to them. But then I looked at the box score here. The box score here, it said they had 8 punts for a 30.3 average.
You might as well just do an arm punt at that point, dude.
Yeah. I mean, you might as well just throw it deep and just hope somebody catches it and intercepts it. But I'm not 100% sure that would be the best option here. So in the article here, like Mitchell, he was contained. He only had 26 yards on 16 carries. The quarterback, they had no fumbles. They didn't turn it over. They didn't do anything. And the head coach was just like, I was very disappointed in our special teams. The major factor was the inability of our special teams to play well. We didn't get a good punt all day. I mean,
it feels like so far with the season, it's one facet of the game that just collapses, that kills them.
Yeah.
Right. Like you have the pick 6 in the last game, which not ideal, but not a death sentence, but in this case it was. And now it's special teams.
Yeah.
I'm just curious what's happening in the next game.
Yeah, it seems like there's one part of the team that just breaks, and that's all it takes for them to lose a game.
Literally. Like if you can't play consistently and all 3 phases of the game, you're not going to win. That's just how it is. It's a cliche for a reason.
So it says in the article, it goes on, I was like, although punter Pete Murphy averaged a little over 30 yards per kick, that does not tell the full story. Lafayette was able to return punts and kickoffs into Columbia territory and set up easy scoring opportunities. And like special teams, a 130-year game, and we just didn't do it today. So, I mean, the punts were not great. And then also they couldn't stop anybody on any returns. I wonder who their special teams coach was. I don't even know if those existed back then.
I don't know. I kind of want to Google it, but I'm guessing there probably just wasn't one.
So,
or at least not how we conceive of them now.
Really, if you look at Lafayette's like yardage, Columbia had 30 yards, only 30 yards rushing on 22 carries. And they had passing yards of 212, so a total of 252 yards. Lafayette had 228 yards rushing on 70 attempts. They ran the damn ball. I'll say
they established it.
They established it. They only had 69 yards passing. The return yards, they had 94 return yards.
Buddy.
Lafayette had more penalty yards.
Literally almost the length of the field.
Lafayette had more penalty yards than they had passing yards. They had 75 penalty yards. Columbia had 13 penalties for 112 yards.
That's like, what, like 3.5 times more penalty yards than they had rushing yards?
Yes. Not good. Time of possession, Lafayette dominated, even though they had short fields. They had nearly 40 minutes of time of possession, 38
because they were
minutes.
Established. They were just running the ball.
Establishing it. So again, streak continues to grow. Next week, they go at Penn to Franklin Field. 8,469. Nice. Watch this one as the official attendance. I found the full video of the Penn versus Columbia game. And I was like, why did I find a full video of this one? And so I just had it on the other day, like an idiot of the Sickos committee that I was. I noticed that Penn scoring drive, I watched it a little bit. I was like, 1 yard touchdown by Steve Oleksic. I can't even say that right. And then I looked at the person.
I guess Oleksic.
So then I looked at the person who uploaded it. It was Steve Oleksic.
Buddy, preserve your moments of glory.
I was like, I put a comment on there from the committee. I was like, congrats on your touchdown, Steve. Thank you for uploading the video I will give you a shout out on the podcast for that. And that's what I'm doing right now. So this game wasn't close. And watching the video, I pray for Santos's life because as soon as he snapped the ball, there was like 3 Penn defenders around him at all moments, and
just swarmed the entire game.
Just the entire game. I was like, oh my God, he's gonna die. And like he would get up after the play, like, "Ow, I'm hurt," but like this is the '80s, and you don't sub anybody else out,
right?
Or anything like that. Like you play through these injuries, and you're probably debilitated,
yep,
for the rest of your life. But like this was just
there's
like
no blue tent up here, boo.
This guy. Oh my God, I feel bad for Santos in this game. It was very rough. They got killed 35-7. Penn went up 35-0. There was a sequence in there where Penn was stopped by Columbia. It was 14-0, and Penn was stopped. And Columbia was like, okay, they settled for a field goal. Penn made it, but Columbia roughed the kicker.
Oh no!
And then so they got the first down, and then they wound up getting a touchdown. It was 21. It was 21-0, and then after that they got another. 21. It's 28-0 at half. In the second half, it's 35-0, and then they got a touchdown towards the end. It was just kind of brutal domination. Like I don't know. The punting wasn't bad here. 38.7 yards per punt.
Yeah,
they lost 2 fumbles. They never show how many like passing. Santos had no interceptions. And I mean, just got beat. Like it was just like not close whatsoever. And Penn just really kind of like cashed in everything and held the ball pretty well.
That 21-point second quarter is it's gonna get you.
Yeah. So basically, Bob Naso says that's the best Ivy League team I can remember facing. So he states that like this is here. They got beat up pretty well. This was not close. And by the way, Steve Olekchek, that was his only touchdown, as far as I could find for stats for Penn. So for him to upload this video, which has like I don't know how many views, but like 26 likes, but it's the full game on like a Philadelphia ABC affiliate or CBS affiliate, I think.
The graphics are amazing.
It is so good. It is very good. So 0-3 on the year. They welcome in Princeton back to Wien Stadium. I'm like, hey, Princeton, Ivy League team, right? Attendance for this one, 9,621. So we're close to sellout levels here.
Yeah.
So like very nice.
People are getting excited about Columbia football.
Like Columbia versus, like, hey, this is good. This is Princeton. Let's come in here. Also, it was homecoming. So that could have played in a factor. Almost a sellout for homecoming. So the headline, it says, Lions homecoming turns into a Tiger feast. Butler and Pellegrino lead Princeton in a 38-8 beating. So it says
that hurts. It hurts to get beat up on homecoming.
Yeah, not good. So it says, oh, what a difference 50 years can make. A half century ago, the Columbia football team eked out a 7-0 victory over heavily favored Stanford in the 1934 Rose Bowl. Saturday at Baker Field, 16 members of that famed Lion squad looked on as this year's team fell 38-8. They brought back the Rose Bowl squad from 1934 and had to witness this.
Podcasting is a visual medium, listeners, and Commission and I just have our heads in our hands. Why did you do this to these people?
So I'm like, you're thinking that they're like at least 68 to 72-ish years old here. And they get them all back to the field to honor them at halftime.
They're so excited to go back to their alma mater. Yeah. They've got a new stadium. It's homecoming.
So Head Coach Bob Naso says, we're disappointed about homecoming. The boys wanted to do their school proud, but it didn't turn out that way. The loss dropped Lions to 0-3 and 0-4 overall. Princeton was particularly merciless in the first half. during which the time they controlled the ball for more than 20 minutes en route to building a 31-0 lead. So it's 31-0. It's 31-0. And these people had to come out at halftime to celebrate 1934.
Yay, Columbia football.
Oh my God.
Remember when we were good?
So it says we were very tentative in the first half. The kids have a lot of pressure on them to win because they haven't done it yet. Right now, they're carrying the whole weight of the world on their shoulders. We need the game plan. We just had a few mental breakdowns, said strong safety Sean Denmead. We were afraid to make mistakes. Princeton just basically opened the score like mercilessly and did just incredible. They do that. And so they even wrote about the pressure that the Columbia Lions were facing. Gritters try not to fold under pressure. For the 38th time in its last 46 attempts, the Columbia Lion football team has lost. On the surface, there did not seem to be too much to distinguish Saturday's 38-8 drubbing at the hands of the Princeton Tigers from any other losses. The Lions were simply dominated in the first half by a very good team that was executing quite well and won the ball game. Now, it would be simple to say that Columbia is a bad football team and it was beaten by better players. However, anyone who watched the second half of Saturday's homecoming contest, this proved to not be the case. After taking a 31-0 lead deficit into the locker room, they came out and played Princeton evenly, outscoring them 8-7 in the second half. This is glass half full type stuff. Yeah,
I mean,
this is stuff that I say.
You try to be positive.
This is stuff that I say when like ULM plays a bye game,
right?
And it's like, you remember Bryce Young threw 2 interceptions against ULM and he won the Heisman. You know, I point that out. Did it ultimately matter in the score that was 70-7? No. But I'm gonna hold on to those facts. This is reminding me of my ULM fandom right here.
Yeah, like, and I understand. I fully agree with them that the players are trying their hardest to win and not make mistakes because mistakes have killed them so far, and they're just kind of in their own head. But 31-0 lead into halftime is just rough, dude. It's rough.
It's just, in fact, every game this year, the Lions have played much better in the second half when there was less pressure on the team. I think in the first half, we were extremely tight, and I think the coaches knew it. At halftime, I told them they were tight and just to go out there and play with enthusiasm and to have fun. That's what football is all about. You should probably tell them that before the game, too, Coach.
Yeah,
I personally, I'm going to give him this because this is 2 almost full stadiums. Like, for them. Like, they're not used to that.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of attention. And they're not used to it. It's fine.
And again, it's a rebuilding year. Everyone's still finding their footing. You're getting those reps in, right? But at a certain point, you kind of gotta lock it down.
I love the writer here. He's like, maybe it's bias, but I cannot write negative things against players who play hard, represent their university, and come up short. Like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, that's fair.
They and that's why we lose. But with a guy like Masserini, who plays his hardest every week, encourages his teammates, and then tells reporters not to give up on the team, I just cannot. There's a lot of pressure on this team to turn a faltering program around, especially in a year with a new stadium and renewed enthusiasm. Players look like and admit they're playing tentative football, too concerned about making mistakes or blowing assignments. And somebody says,
which is real. Like,
yeah,
it's honest. It's measured. It's a measured tape. It's not like the sky is falling. It's just they're doing their best not to make mistakes, and they're still blowing it. So here we are.
This is like we're carrying the whole burden of the world on our shoulders. Players are not going out there executing the way they were taught. So basically, the coach is saying this is a mental game. And like with the pressure of dedicating a stadium, a homecoming, or winning an Ivy title is really off the board now. So you got nothing left to lose. This was what the coach said.
Right.
So if they lose to Yale Colgate but play their best, then the players, program, and university have nothing to be ashamed of. The Lions just have to go out there on Saturday afternoon, forget all else but that game, play the best they can, and be proud that they represented the students and alumni of Columbia to the best of their ability, regardless of the outcome. Sounds good.
It's true. It's very measured. It's honest.
Next game, on the road against Yale, who's the last team they beat, I believe. This was I believe it was the last team they beat. Yeah, it was. They beat Yale last year in New Haven, 21-18. So this is the team that basically their last win against was Yale. So they're on the road. They're going to play them again, and really, this is kind of like Yale's not good, like you know of them nowadays or whatever, or like a solid Ivy League. Yale is pretty bad also, and this is kind of like a peer to them where they're at program wise. So it was a very, very close game, but Columbia dropped the game 28-21. Headlines indicated like Gritters lose close one as Yale as Eli's win in the final seconds. It wasn't a victory in many respects, but this year's Columbia loss to the Eli's was just as exciting as last year's light blue victory. In the end, the winless Lions fell 28-21, dropping to 0-5, 0-3 in the Ivies, while the Bulldogs picked up their second Ivy victory. The Lions lost their chance for a tie or victory in the last 6 seconds of the fourth quarter after Yale's touchdown with just over a minute to play. Columbia began its drive with a first down on its own 33-yard line. Lion quarterback Henry Santos threw 2 passes to John Pettywell. That is such an Ivy League name.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's hard to get more Ivy League than that.
I mean, and one to Mike Franceschione for first downs to put Columbia within striking distance. On 4th down and 2, Santos completed a 6-yard pass to Mark Millam, and Columbia was now on the 12-yard line with 12 seconds to go. However, 2 attempts for Franceschione in the end zone failed, and the last one being tipped away by Yale's Tim Kotekowitz. I think that's right. Kotkowitz? Sure. As time ran out, Yale's winning touchdown came after what seemed to be a complete collapse of the Columbia defense. In 13 plays, Yale virtually ran away with the ball. They ran for 56 yards on 10 plays in that series, including a 19-yard touchdown run by Dave Klein up the middle. And that touchdown basically just devastated them. Like the last minute of the game, and they had a chance to win or tie, and they're throwing the ball into the end zone, and they just could not connect to tie here. So this is kind of like Columbia's closest game of the year. I'm just gonna say it right now. There's nothing else really closer. They had a chance here, and they just couldn't capitalize on it.
It's brutal.
It sucks. It's a close one. This is why I like going through these streaks. I'm like, if they could have caught one and maybe went for 2, or maybe they could have got a tie, but the streak would have been going. So,
or you can run the ball into the end, like
who knows
if you don't pass it twice versus like the Seahawks did in that one Super Bowl. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's okay. You won it this year. You're fine.
It's fine. But again, like you can look back and you can say, like, see, you got to learn from your mistakes. Columbia, you got to learn from your mistakes.
Got to learn. So what I want to let you know here is they're back home and they got to play number 15 Colgate. They got to play a ranked team in Wien Stadium, and they get 6,600. So, I mean, you're playing a ranked team. It's not like a giant crowd here, which is great. I really, really, really think they got a good one here. There's headlines just like Lions can still hold their heads high despite loss to Bulldogs. There's there's so many articles here. It's like things started to click. We believe we had enough time. We can always believe you could move the ball down the field. We wanted a one-on-one for the final play. I mean, they just, despite what they could do, they just, that one play just really hurt them. Scoring thing is just, they just couldn't do it. And they're thinking that they can continue everything for this one, and they'll have a good shot against Colgate. Shout out to the headline writer of Columbia for this one. Colgate finds cavities in the CU defense with a 35-16 win.
It's very good.
It's good. Gotta do it. Gotta make
Very
a toothpaste. Gotta make a toothpaste pun.
Well, yeah. If you don't, they take away your ability to write headlines.
So it says Steve Calibria put on a virtual one-man show at Baker Field last Saturday afternoon to lead Colgate to a 35-16 victory over Columbia. The quarterback completed 18 of 29 passes for 320 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also ran 9 yards for the Red Raiders' final touchdown late in the fourth quarter. Calibria almost single-handedly put to rest any hopes the light blue had of upsetting 15th ranked Colgate in N1AA. Columbia, which fell to 0-6 for the season, raised the possibility of an upset by scoring a field goal and a touchdown on its first 2 possessions. The touchdown capped a 12-play, 74-yard drive and gave the Lions a lead of 10-7 in the second and the final time early in the second quarter. Then Calibria went to work. 3rd and 9 from his own 23. He hit tight end Mike Scott for 16 yards. It's a big play. He threw a bomb to his favorite target, and that was it. I love the fact that there's people that are complaining about offensive pass interference. Here in the headline, it says, like, the Lions argued that Stengline, who had caught a pass from Calibria for the first Colgate touchdown earlier in the game, had pushed off. It says, it's quote, "He pushed off," Conlon said. "There was no doubt about it. He knew it. I knew it. It would have been a close play, but the ref blew the call." And so they're talking about a touchdown in the first quarter. That was a big play, a damn big play. Columbia coach Bob Naso said, "Take it out of the first half, and it shouldn't have been there. And it's a lot closer." The head coach of Colgate had a different thing. It's like, the wide receiver says, "I don't think I pushed off. Steve hung the ball up there, so I slowed down and let him run into me." And the play stood. However, Naso didn't think it had any adverse on his team's intensity. It didn't really affect the emotion on the sideline. It didn't give them momentum.
Man, there's a part of me that's like, I understand that, like, when it's a blown call, but when you're on a losing streak and you're complaining about the refs, man, it's not a good look for you. Like, why were you in that position anyway? That's just bad assignment.
Yeah, So they go on the road, Dartmouth next. It says Columbia hands over another one in Hanover. Chambers runs for 183 yards and a 41-9 laugher. Like they just get blown out here. For the 7th time in as many games, the Columbia Lions have felt the agony of defeat as they were embarrassed 41-9 by previously winless Dartmouth, who now improves to 1-7. 1-4 in the Ivies. With the loss, the Lions drop to 0-7, 0-5 in the league. So this was like the Sickos committee game of the year in the Ivies here. Both winless teams, and like Dartmouth just takes them to the woodshed.
Somebody's got to win, and they
somebody got to. They
embarrass
won.
Is the correct word here.
Head coach Bob Naso, this loss was one of my most disappointing days as a coach. I can't remember a team playing as poorly as we did against Dartmouth. Leaving the tunnel after the game, I remembered again how I felt the first time I came up here, a game which Columbia lost by nearly the same margin, 48-0.
Oh
Uh,
my God.
Immediately in the opening drive, the Big Green set the tone for the entire game. They seemingly waltzed down the field, covering 79 yards in 11 plays, capped off by a 14-yard touchdown uh, by senior tailback Lorenzo Chambers. Chambers, the Brooklyn native, amassed an impressive 183 yards on 25 carries with 4 touchdowns. He did the Al Bundy.
Uh-huh.
4 in the single game. This drive gave Dartmouth a tremendous emotional lift. We were very disorganized defensively because of injuries. We only had one outside linebacker, and we were forced to start sophomores Bill Hicks and Tom Johnston. There were also 3 plays where we only had 10 men on the field.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. What?
Bob.
Once is a mistake. Once is a mental mistake.
3 times.
3.
The coach said this in the press conference after the game.
And his tone, like, his tone is so much different than other games. Now he's just mad at the squad. Now he's just mad that not only did you get embarrassed by Dartmouth, you had 3 10-men plays.
The entire game for the Lions was one big comedy of errors that included 5 Columbia turnovers, 3 of which directly led to Dartmouth scores. There were also mental mistakes, the 10 players, there were more mental mistakes.
You don't say.
Come on. All right. With the score early, 7-3 early in the second quarter, Dartmouth had a 3rd and 18 on the line 39. Naso recalls the play. We had their quarterback scrambling and almost tackled him. At that point, all 3 defensive backs came in toward the quarterback, leaving DROUGHT wide open for the reception. He's like, this should never happen. I'm like all 3 of them were like, let me go get him.
Yeah, like, oh, we're going to get him now. All of you together at once.
With time running out in the third.
All of them just...
I'm just imagining all of them was like, go get him.
At the same time.
Yes.
It clicks to them at the exact same time, and everybody runs in and leaves the guy open and nobody covering him.
Like all 3. With time running out,
all of you.
I love this one here. With time running out in the third quarter, Lions sophomore John Pennywell. As soon as his name's there, I'm going to mention it every time. He fumbled a Dartmouth punt, and on the next play, Chambers swept left, scoring on a 22-yard drive. At this point, with the score 34-9, Naso felt the game was over. Our plan was to run. Was first to run. Dartmouth head coach John Ukika, I guess. I don't know. And there's some weird names here.
I'm going to go with Ukika,
Yeah, whose team finally ended a dry spell, which started 1 year ago after it tied Columbia 17-17. So this was one of those ties that Columbia had. We threw the pass to keep them honest, and it worked quite well. Dartmouth senior quarterback Mark Caravello, who had already thrown 14 interceptions this season, was almost perfect, going 10 for 14 for 142 yards.
This man had the game of his life.
So Columbia just not having a good one here. Just like you would think they almost put it together against Yale. They
held their own against Colgate.
Yeah, they were kind of close, but then like when it's like we could finally do this,
especially against a team that you'd won against before.
Yeah,
everybody just falls apart.
Yeah, it is kind of rough. They go back home to play against Cornell. About 6,000 there, 5,996. In a rivalry game, they lose 19-7. Their final game of the season, home against Wien Stadium, they're playing against Brown. Only 4,635 show up for the game. So it's the second lowest attendance, but Lafayette's not an Ivy League team. It's the lowest attendance when they played an Ivy League team. They play against Brown. And they're looking for their win at all. And unfortunately, the season ends with a loss to Brown 28-14. And it goes, today's game typified the entire season, remarked Columbia football coach Bob Naso after Brown defeated the Lions 28-14 in the final game of the season. The loss in what may very well have been Naso's last game as head coach with Columbia left the Light Blue with an 0-9 mark. It was the worst record in the history of the school, and only the second time a Lion football team had gone winless, the first being the 1943 team 0-8. The ninth loss this year certainly did symbolize the previous 8. The Lions featured poor play by the Lions special teams, 2 key turnovers, untimely penalties, and the inability of the Light Blue to score. Just, come on, man. It's too much.
No.
It's too much. It is too much. So it says, it did not take long for Columbia's lapses to show either after Bruin first-year coach John Rosenberg won the toss and elected to kick off. The Lions made him look like a genius when Brown recovered the fumble on the second play from scrimmage.
Oh, my God.
Apparently, Lion quarterback Henry Santos was not ready for the snap as it sailed 10 yards behind him. Ted Moscala recovered it for Brown at the line 11. According to Naso, Santos called for the ball to be snapped after the first sound, but the junior went to check off, and the ball was snapped to nobody.
Oh, God.
He went to call it. I'm just imagining him walking away, calling an audible, and the ball.
And the ball just going.
I wonder if, like,
I feel like this happened in a Raiders game in the early 2000s, where it went like 40 yards behind him.
If you set this to go on the first sound, and then like you go to audible, like whose fault is that?
What do you? Yeah,
it's
literally. What are you doing? What are you doing?
I think you would have to go up to the center and like, hey, hold on, I'm checking the play first.
Yeah,
I would think, right? Like Bob Naso is just not necessarily like feeling it anymore. The team that obliterated them in Penn 35-7 winds up winning the Ivy. And this was they went perfect 7-0, and they won that. They were the last team to go unbeaten in the Ivy since Dartmouth in 1970. So when he said this was the best team in the Ivies, the coach knew it. Bob knew it, and really. Bob was, they indicated that it could have been his last game after losing to Brown, and it was. So Bob's last game was that loss to Brown. And it just says, Naso 0-9 throws in the towel. And this is like, I love this, like with the class and composure that characterized his 5 years at Columbia as the head coach. Bob Naso announced his resignation yesterday afternoon. After taking over an unsuccessful football program in December 1979, Naso was unable to lead the Lions back to a winning path, compiling a record of 43-2. The past season in particular was disappointing. The Lions struggled to an 0-9 finish, their first win this season since 1943. So yesterday, in a meeting with several student reporters, Naso made official what many had recently come to expect. This may or may not come as a surprise, Naso began, leaning comfortably back in his chair, as though nothing were new, but this morning I submitted my resignation. Naso, the 13th head coach in Columbia history, explained that after the 41-9 loss to Dartmouth 3 Saturdays ago, he and Columbia's director of athletics, Al Paul, started having a series of meetings to discuss Naso's future with the Lions. I carefully gave a thought to what was best for me and my family, and equally important, what was best for Columbia football and the players. This was the best course of action for all concerned. So you remember the Dartmouth game, right? Like he had 3 plays with only 10 players on the field. And he's just like, I think I'm out here. Like I can't. Everything was disorganized. We lost a linebacker. We had sophomores playing. And he was just like, I'm done. I'm out. And so After 5 years, you have to look at the one-loss record, but Bob Naso is a super guy, and that's what made it tough. You look past the future, you look at the past and the future, and you hope to make the right decisions for both parties. And so there's more articles here. It says, time had come for a change. Paul, players agree, program needed fresh, new leadership. For 5 years, Bob Naso gave no less than 100% effort toward the Columbia football program. Most coaches would not be asked back after 4 seasons of winning exactly 1 game each year. But because of his dedication, shade, Naso was given one more opportunity to try to turn a consistently struggling program around. But that one more opportunity resulted in a winless season. And now, after reaching a mutual agreement with Columbia Athletic Director Al Paul, Naso has decided to resign. Was this the best thing for the Columbia program? We talked about the present and the future, Paul said, and decided this would be the best thing for Columbia football. So it's just like he came in 1980 at a bad time. The team has had a losing tradition. It was just as bad, just a bad habit he couldn't shake. Too bad he didn't have a better season. The team was dedicated, but we just couldn't put it together. He just ran into a lot of bad luck. This is a quote from tight end Mark Milam, referring to their lack of success over the years. Is like, quote, we've just had a lot of problems. And then it just shows that there's something wrong in the system other than the coaches. Having the field all the way uptown is a factor. He did what he could. Coach Naso felt that his resignation was the best thing for Columbia football. And then Milam goes, it wasn't just him. Maybe it was us. It's just like, oh my God, dude.
It's rough. And that's hard because sometimes it is what it is. Sometimes you do just come into bad luck. Sometimes you can't turn a struggling program around. Sometimes it takes a lot longer than you want for it to.
Yeah.
And nothing you can, no matter how many times you move the pieces on the board, you just can't make stuff click. Which that last quote is hard though. That's
rough.
He's just 1,000 yards staring. Maybe it was us.
So apparently Bob Naso had a tradition. On his desk in front of him, neatly stacked, were several blue chips, the kind you might see in a casino. Only these chips, which each had a lion drawn on one side, were not for betting purposes. These were blue chips with a lion on the side and that served a higher purpose. At the beginning of the season, Naso had given each one of his players one of these chips, and the message went with them. I gave them the chips and told them to keep it with you as a reminder to yourself when you get in a difficult situation that you want to be the best you can be. Through this past 0-9 season, Bob Naso had carried one of these chips in his pocket. More than the chip, though, he has carried himself with a perspective that has enabled him to bear 5 seasons of frustration. Only 4 times in his stay at Columbia did Naso enter a post-game interview room with the luxury of being able to answer the questions directed towards a winning coach. Yet the class, the humanity, the friendliness of Bob Naso did not wane one bit through it all. So he goes, by nature, I'm a positive guy. I always believe there's hope. And so he came to Columbia with the intention of building his team around a great quarterback, a Lion tradition. Marty Domrys, Archie Roberts, Don Jackson, and there were some of the names of the past. John Witkowski was the name that Naso brought to the present. Witkowski and his receivers set a slew of records in their 3 years of varsity play, but the one thing they didn't do was win football games. Naso's plan hadn't worked out as well as he expected, yet undaunted with the graduation of Witkowski and company last May, he headed into the season, the 1984 campaign, optimistic that he'd have a solid enough core to be competitive in the Ivy League. Unfortunately for Naso and the team, it became increasingly clear with each passing week the Lions were in for another long season. So Bob is done as the Columbia head coach. He's out. He finished with his record of 4-43-2, 3-31-1 in the Ivy. In 1976, Naso worked as the defensive coordinator for Rutgers, the Scarlet Knights, when they went 11-0, and his unit placed first nationwide in total rushing and scoring defense. Bob Naso has actually been inducted to the Rutgers University and Long Island Metropolitan Lacrosse, along with the New Jersey Lacrosse Hall of Fame. So he's a Hall of Famer at Rutgers.
Count it.
Count it. He was the defensive coordinator, and he just couldn't put together a defense with 11 people on the field. He's like, I'm done. I gotta go.
He just needs to focus on one side of the ball. 3 is too many.
Yeah, special teams was rough also.
Special teams is where it collapses. Like offense and defense, maybe you put special teams together.
Yeah.
House of Cards falls over.
So this is going to be the end of episode 2 here. The losing streak sits at 14 with 12 losses and 2 ties. Columbia is 0-6 in its new stadium. So they had 6 home games out of their 9, and they lost them all. They got a new stadium. They still haven't won a game in the new stadium.
They'll get there someday.
Yeah, eventually. Oh, thank you so much for being patrons. Bridget, thank you so much for joining me. Stay tuned for episode 3. We'll have it coming up in the next few weeks or so. Thank you. Have a good one.